everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Jo here. I hope you're all well and having a wonderful day. If you're new here, I'm Jo. I do craft videos. I do 3 a week. I do one on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and then I do a Poundland haul every fortnight, plus my charity shop finds, because I do like a good look around the charity shops and I like a good bargain. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you leave a comment, I will reply. And if you're not subscribed and you want to see more from me, then it'd be wonderful if you could join our family and friends and help support me. If you're returning, as always, my friends, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me, as you know it does. I tell you all the time, and I just love you guys, so thank you so much. So we'll get into today's video on how I made my bird cages from start to finish. So we'll start with what you'll need. So I used a mixture of things from different places. I bought these, I think, from B&M's years ago, and I've never used them. They're salt and pepper shakers, and I'm going to use them to go in my bird cages, so that's what I'm going to use for them. Then I'm also using 2 of the egg nests. These are in the Easter section in Poundland, and I'm going to replace the eggs and put my own in. And then I did get these from Wish. I paid £1 for postage. They were free, but it was £1 to have them delivered, and I was planning on using some, but I didn't. And then you will definitely need some wooden skewers or kebab skewers. This is what I used to do the cage part once I spray painted them in gold. You'll need a mixture of flowers and foliage. You'll need some cardboard. I used an old cardboard box, and I used some A4 white card as well. And then some acrylic paints. I just used some green and some white. I picked out some ribbon, which I didn't use, but I did use some of the twine. And then you'll need a glue gun, a pair of scissors, a pair of tweezers, a pair of wire cutters, a pen. I don't think you need a ruler for this one, but we'll get over to the table. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw around this hoop that I've got. It's quite small, and I'm just checking that the bird will sit on the piece of card once we cut it out, and I've got enough room to put an egg net and a few flowers around the outside. So now I'm going to draw around this hoop. I'm going to do 4 circles and then stick 2 together so that I've got 2 bases, and they're a little bit stronger because these salt and pepper shakers are quite heavy. So I just wanted to make sure that it was strong enough once I've cut them out and I've stuck them together. So now I've got my bases, I'm going to start to work on the egg nest so I can get painting them and let them dry when we continue working on our bird cages. So I'm going to paint them in a little bit, but first I'm going to take the eggs out of the egg nest. And these plastic eggs, once you take them out, they bend and they're not very good. So I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to use some others that I've got. Again, these are from Poundland, and I'm going to paint them in white acrylic paint and let them dry before sticking them back in. And depending on what colours you're going to do your bird cages and what flowers you use, obviously you could leave the eggs in if you wanted, but I decided I want to have mine white, so I'm just going to use some white acrylic paint, do a couple of coats, and then we'll glue them back in a bit. So the eggs are now drying, and while they're drying, I'm going to paint the bases of my bird cage. I'm just going to do them in a green. I'm going to do 2 coats and let them dry, and it's just so that if there's any gaps between the foliage that we put in place, you won't be able to see the cardboard. So my bases are drying and my eggs are now dry, so I'm going to just glue these back in using some hot glue. I'm just going to pop 3 in each nest. And now I've decided I'm going to paint my birds. I was going to leave them, but realised that actually one of them was a bit damaged on the tail, so I'm going to paint these white. I'm going to do a couple of coats first, and then I'm going to put some polyfiller in the holes to hide where you would use them to shake salt and pepper out of. So while they're drying, I'm going to continue to work on my nests. And I've just got some small green leaves, and I'm just going to glue these around the outside. And I'm just starting with one end, and then I'm just going to bend it round and then secure it halfway in the middle and then at the other end as well. I'm going to do exactly the same to both of the nests. Like so. So now that I'm happy with them and the bases are dry, I'm just going to glue these in place, one on each base in the centre at the front. So I've done 2 coats on my birds already, and now I'm just going to use a little bit of already mixed polyfiller just to fill in the holes. I'm just going to use my fingers to do this. I'm just going to fill the holes and then take off the excess, and then I'm going to do another coat in white, and then I will be back. So my birds are now dry, and I'm going to stick these in place. And I always like things to mirror each other, so I'm going to have them facing each other, and I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue them at the base onto the cardboard. Now I'm going to start the next step so that they can be drying while we finish the base off, but I'm just going to hold one of the wooden skewers in place and see how tall I want my bird cages to be, and I've decided that I'm going to have them 7 inches, so I'm going to mark off 7 inches on one of the skewers and then just use a pair of wire cutters to trim it, just checking the size. And I'm going to do, I did 15 for each one to start off with, and actually I should have done 17 for each one. So depending on how big your circle is will determine how many sticks you need. So I would suggest probably doing a few more than you think you're going to need. I mean, the spray paint that I used didn't take too long to dry anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I had to do an extra 4, so I did 34 in total in the end. Now that I've cut them all, I'm going to keep the ends probably for another project. I'm sure they'll come in use instead of just chucking them away. And now I've just taken a piece of oasis that I had spare. Really dislike this stuff, guys. If you've seen my video before, I don't even like feeling it. So I'm just going to use this quickly to pop some of the skewers in. So that I can spray paint them. I'm going to be using the metallic shimmering gold, and this is from Poundland. I got 2 tins. I only used half a tin to do my skewers for both bird cages. Obviously, depending on how big you make them or how many you make will determine how many tins of paint you'll need. So they're drying, and while they're drying, I can continue to work on the basis. And I'm just going to wrap some twine around the neck of one of the birds to start off with and just glue it in place. I went around about 3 or 4 times. And then I'm just going to add a little green bow that I picked up in a charity shop. I got a little pack for 50p, and I'm just going to add that to the neck of the bird. So I've done both of them, and now I'm going to start to add some flowers and foliage. I'm just going to use some of this little purple gypsy grass and cut off some small sections. And I'm just going to add these around the outside of the bird's nest just to add a little bit of colour. And I'm going to do exactly the same to each one. So I've just added a few little bits of purple. And now I'm going to finish covering the base. I got these from my local market, and they're like little miniature bushes once you cut them off. So I'm going to leave a couple in the sets of 4 and glue them where there's quite a lot of space. And then I'm going to cut individual ones and stick them around the back of the bird where there's not a lot of space until I've covered the card. Now that my base is looking nice and full, I'm going to start to add some more little purple flowers that I've got. I've no idea what these are called, so if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. And I'm just going to cut off a few little pieces and then pop them in between the green that we've just put in place. And this is how we're looking at the moment. So I was messing about with Lily of the Valley and to see if I could get any to stand up at the back, and I wasn't too keen on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some more of the green that I've already put in place, and again just add some more of the purple flowers until they're nice and full. So that's basically the inside of our bird cage is done. So now we can actually start to make the bird cage. So my skewers are now dry and painted gold. And it doesn't matter which you have at the top or which you have at the bottom because they're going to be covered on both sides anyway. But I'm just going to now add some glue, and I'm going to start at the back, and I'm just going to place this on the cardboard at the base and hold it until it dries. And then I'm going to work my way around the base. I'm going to leave probably about a centimetre and a bit in between each stick that I glue in place. And I just made sure that I had something good to watch on TV while I was doing this. And then once you've gone all the way around, it should look something like this. And now I'm going to cut 2 circles the same size as we did the base, just off a cardboard box. I'm just going to trace around the circle again and cut 2 of them out. I'm going to do one for each of the bird houses or cages. So I've cut them out, and I'm going to spray paint these gold, and I'm going to do the other sticks that I need to do as well and let them dry, and I'll be back once they're dry. So I've only done one side of the cardboard because you're only going to see one side. So the side that you can see, I'm going to place down so that if you look inside the birdhouse, you'll only see the gold top. And I'm just placing it in the center. And now I'm going to glue the skewers in place. So I'm going to make sure that they're straight, and then I'm just going to glue them to the side of the card. So I'm just going to take the first one, pop a little bit of glue on it, and then glue it to the card, let it dry, and then continue to work my way around. You could use a piece of Oasis to do this and just put them in the Oasis, but I try not to use Oasis if I can help it. So I just used a piece of card instead. It would be a lot quicker to use Oasis, and then you could just place them in. But instead I decided that I was going to just use a piece of card. So now that they're all stuck in place, I'm going to do exactly the same to the other one, and then we're going to do the top of the bird cage. I'm going to take an 8-inch hoop, and I'm just going to trace around this on some A4 card. I'm going to do 2 and cut them out. And this is what we're going to use to do our roofs of our bird cages. I will be slitting one side and then folding it into a cone and popping it in place like so. But before I do that, I'm going to paint it. I'm just going to paint it in some green acrylic paint. Just going to do one coat because you're not going to see it, but just in case. And I'll be back once they're dry. So it's dry, and now I'm just going to glue it in place. And then we can attach it to the top of the bird cage. And I'm just trimming off the excess. And this is what it looks like. So now I'm just going to finish the base off, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the twine and I'm going to just start on one of the skewers and glue it in place and then work my way around, and I'm going to go around 3 times, leaving a small gap in between each row that we go around, and it's just tied the wooden skewers where it's not painted at the bottom, and also the cardboard base at the side so you can't see it. Like so. So we can start to work on the top now. So I'm going to take some of these larger leaves that I've got, and I'm just going to use this to basically cover most of the top of the bird cage, and I'm just going to have to cut some of the excess off because they're a bit too long, and I just want them to slightly overlap on the edge of the cone. And then I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue that in place, but I'm going to take off the plastic bit as well just so that I can glue it flat. And now I'm just going to add one on each side of that one as well, and then one at the back. So I'm going to use 4 of these leaves on each bird cage. And then to hide the gaps that we've got around the outside, I'm just going to use some other leaves that I've got. Now all the leaves are in place. I'm just going to add 2 bits of this cream flowers that I've got. I'm going to add one on each side. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the lily of the valley. I'm going to add one on each side of the front and one on each side on the back. Like so. And then I'm just going to use some more of this green foliage that I've got. This is stuff that I used around the egg nest, and I'm just going to put a few pieces in the front and some at the back. And then to finish off the top, I'm just going to add 2 white flowers to hide where we stuck everything down. And then I'm going to add some of the purple flowers that we used in the base, some of the gypsy grass and the other stuff that I don't know the name of. And I'm just going to pop that all the way around to finish it off so that the base matches the top. And then we can see what they look like. So here they are finished. I absolutely love them. I know I say that about every craft that I do, but I'm just so impressed with how they turned out. Yeah, I really like them, and I probably will be doing some more in the future. I made 2 because I want to keep one as is, and then I'm thinking of using one for something else, for another craft, so that's why I made the 2 of them. But yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. If you've made it this far, congratulations, and yeah, I will see you on Friday for my next craft video, which I think is going to be an Easter one, so I'll see you for that. Take care for now. Bye.